Say, man, you're in a privileged position right now. You're in a place to be. Matter of fact, a place to G with the one and only S&OOP. So what you gonna do now? Turn that shit up and let it bang.
Everybody that you fight is not your enemy.
Trenches.
And everybody that helps you is not your friend.
Free time. Nico Trenches, we train
And
on
that's
like
what
a
life
line. Getting sacks on quarterbacks, you know we live. When you shoot that 45, keep your nose on the inside. Better punch something, keep your feet moving, dog. My 3 tech and 110, they some real hollers. My DN 6'5", he ain't got no flaws. Good grades, good feet, man, he got it all. I said crazy on him, he'll snatch something. Real aggressive jump, said he tryna grab something. If the old don't shoot their hands, you better jab some. You better stab some.
I'm here with the winner, Derek Lewis. Derek, why don't you take your pants off?
Pros, we get it in.
My balls are hot.
If you ain't watching film, you ain't trying to win. If you close the beat gap, then you gotta spin. If you get around the edge, then you gotta bend. I'm in the trenches where the lineman at. I'm in the trenches where the lineman at. I'm in the trenches where the lineman at. Where the lineman at? Where the lineman at? D tackle, do your dance. D ends, do your dance. Center, do your dance. Guard, do your dance. Tackle, do your dance. I'm in the trenches where the lineman at. I'm in the trenches where the lineman at.
Fucking bet against me. Bet against me. Tell me it's not going to happen. Tell me it's going to fail. I love it. I love every minute of it.
Good evening, everybody. I'm your host, TKB. We are here for episode 30 of the Bushleague Sports Show. I can't believe we've been doing this stupid-ass show for 30 episodes. Thanks to my homie Trav for being there with me through all of them. Appreciate it big time. Tonight, we're going to get into everything that's going on in the NFL. Week 6, big games today. A lot of close ones, a lot of blowouts, a lot of arse whippings. We're going to open a box of Panini. I almost said Panini Contenders box while we're getting through some NFL action, dial in a little bit of fantasy, and then we're going to hop right into NHL. NHL season kicked off the other day in Prague in the middle of like the preseason. I don't know what the hell they were doing, but whatever, it started. And now we're still rolling. But I'm going to bring Trav up before I ramble forever for too long. Travie, what's going on? How you doing? Episode 30, we made her, baby. What's going on?
Dude, I can't believe it's been 30 episodes. I know that. Oh, I'm back.
Yeah, you're back.
We started this at the beginning of last season NFL, and it was just a really cool thing that we were doing on Sunday nights or Thursday nights at the time, and we were having a blast, and here we are 30 episodes later. I'd say a few more viewers, still working out the technical stuff, but man,
do we have more? I think we probably have less, maybe. I think
we got less? You think it's probably my beard? I had a little bit larger beard back then. The ladies were probably digging it and jumping in with us, but I've since trimmed it up. Trying to keep it clean here on Bushleague Sports on Sunday nights now.
I love it. For anybody who's just joining now too, we also incorporated today. We got the Twitter space rolling, so you can hop in live with the Twitter space if you head over to the Bushleague Sports or mine or Sleeps, any one of our Twitter pages. You can hop in, join. I see Elmi join. Elmi, feel free to hop up to the speaker panel if you want. You're welcome to come ask some questions. While we get into it, I want to make sure you can hear the audio in there. But I think it should all flow good because I have this muted. If he talks, it should come out of the phone. You're going to have to tell me, Trav, once someone besides me and you talk. But we might have cracked the code on Twitter Spaces and live shows. We'll see. If you want to, you could add this to your live stream too. I don't know if you have or not. It's the top corner.
So I did attempt to. However, it booted me out. And, unfortunately, it looks like that's not in the cards for today. And for that, I apologize. It's the browser that I opened this stream on is not the browser that I normally do. That's already locked in, ready to go and rock. So
nice. Well, we'll
it
probably
is
get
what it
12
is, man.
viewers instead of 90 because you're the one who pulls them all. But no, it's been a pretty exciting week. And I know you've been playing some hockey this weekend. Before we get into all of it, we'll touch on some hockey later in the show. But you had a little hockey tournament of your own. The old leg sore or what, old man?
Dude, I am exhausted, man. I'm like, if you guys see me start to nod in the space, just yell in my ears to wake me up, man. So 5 games this weekend, didn't take home the trophy. Made it to the playoffs, lost in the first round this morning. And away she goes. It was fun. Was playing with some stronger skaters, some younger bucks than me. But we could get back out there, get a little chippy. My wife and kids were at the game, and they were sitting behind the visitor bench, and they said the visiting team, the other team, was getting a little lippy at old Double Deuce out there. 2-2 was me, and they're like, "Oh, that guy's a dick." And I'm like, "Oh,
I love it.
you gotta get a little weird out there, man. Have some fun, get under their skin a little bit, right? Sean Avery, man. Everybody remembers Sean Avery, right?"
Yeah, no, that's fair. He still does a little bit of stuff. I won't say with spin chicklets here and there. He does a little bit. So,
does he?
He was a definite big time shit talker though. And I'm excited to see if I pull any good cards out of this one here today. We'll see. I know we pulled a TJ Watt last week, so we'll see. I guess 2 weeks ago. It's been a little bit since we did the show. Since then, too, I've been on a big fundraising campaign, and we'll touch on that at the end of the show when we get into the shredding sassy segment. Touch on a little action sports as we always do to close out the show. But we may as well get into a little something. People probably come here to learn a little bit of sports, or maybe they just come here to look at our pretty faces. Who's to say? But we dial everybody in on a little bit of NFL fantasy and what's going on this week. Some of the top performers along that. I don't know if you've been following along with much football while you were playing out there. But and before we roll too far, though, you get any goals, put up any points, or no? They're just
not today, man. I just, I think I had 8 penalty minutes over the course of the 5 games, no goals, maybe 2 assists. And again, way she goes, man. Hopefully I get invited back. It's my first time playing with this team. They called me up, and I just hope I get the call again next tourney. Let's see, these guys, they travel all over Texas. Some get out to Colorado to play, so we'll see how it goes.
Nice. I like it. And Trav, I see you joined the show. Feel free to request up and come say hi. We'll see if we get any cool things out of this pack. Touch on a few things. But so NFL, our top performers this week when it comes to fantasy, and we'll give a shout to Sleeper, using the Sleeper fantasy app for dialing in everybody on what we have going on with Sleeper. And our fantasy tournament, we were on there with Bushleague Media, obviously shredding sassy, sitting in the middle of the pack there. But this week, the big performer, the guy I finally benched in one of my leagues after 5 weeks, I decided, you know what? He hasn't done a whole lot. I'm going to bench him. I'm going to plug in a little someone else this week, see who we can get going. Maybe run a little, a little Brock Purdy or something to that effect, which still did well. Yeah. But Caleb Williams, 29 points. Absolute banger. Kid was ripping 4 touchdowns. Not the most yards on the day, but a big night for him. So fantasy-wise, putting up some big numbers for everybody, almost 30 points in the QB position, 4 TDs.
Absolutely. Could have easily been 5 as well. He had an opportunity to get that 5th tutty as well. 23 for 29 on the day. Yeah, 226 yards, not a whole lot, but 23 for 29, rookie QB, 4 tutties. I'll take it. All day.
Mayfield going absolutely ham again. He's been on an absolute tear, so that's pretty interesting to see him just buzzing away like that. Another big game. Chris Godwin, a couple tutties, not as big of a game again for Mike Evans. But then we see Bucky Irving come on the scene and put up some big numbers, almost 20 fantasy points, which we'll touch on in a little bit. But he's one of the top performers coming in at running back this week too. So Tampa Bay just putting up lots of points. They're like, I don't think we would have thought coming in that they were like the top fantasy team coming into what's, like literally the biggest fantasy performers are some of them coming from Tampa Bay.
Yeah, it's
Godwin, Evans, and the running backs.
Pretty wild to see this, renaissance, this rejuvenation of Baker Mayfield in Tampa, and we saw it at the end of last year, and he's continued it on this year. And I couldn't be happier for the dude. You know, a guy growing up being a Steeler fan and myself hating the Browns, man. I actually like Baker Mayfield. I think it's all because of those ESPN commercials where like the Brown Stadium was his home and like, you know, he was going around the coffee maker and the nacho cheese, and ESPN really sold Baker Mayfield to me, and now I love the guy.
Nice. No, I love it. And one other thing I just noticed while looking at it here too is we had 3 rookie quarterbacks, kind of, I guess, the 3 main rookies, unless I'm missing one, that are going this year. Jaden Daniels, Bo Nix, Drake May, all 21 points today. So that's it's interesting fantasy wise. All the rookies just put on a show today. Stroud and Jackson did pretty well as well, but the rookies were absolutely phenomenal today.
Yeah, Jaden Daniels, you know, I read something today that like, you know, he's been the rookie of the week 4 out of the first 5 weeks of the season, just putting up numbers in Washington, and good for him, man. Good for the Washington football team, the Commanders, whatever they're called now. You know, they didn't win today, but they played a tough Ravens team and kept it close, losing by only 7. So what are you opening up now? How you feeling? How you feeling about this pack?
The first pack of these Panini contenders while we're going away here. But no, those are your fantasy performers today for quarterback position, and our absolute duds. Kind of your normal guys lately. Deshaun Watson, Will Levis, Daniel Jones. So far, not doing much. Dak Prescott is like going from QB1 last year to just not so much this year. He's more QB. Looking like 20 or 30. Need a little better lighting to be able to see that from far away, unless I like hold it there for a sec. I think it kind of zooms in, but I don't have.
Yeah, it adjusts. The light adjusts. No, it's good.
Little Mike Evans. If I get anything cool, I'll show anybody. Then we're moving on to running back today. Like I say, but Bucky Irving, one of the stud performers, but the with him being one of the stud performers, it's actually some other random dude. Nobody knows who he is. Tucker. It gets 37 fast, like absolutely explodes on the scene. Like, who is this dude? These guys just come out. People, we do our research all year. We got Rashad White. I know Bucky Irving's a dog in the backfield. Who the hell is this other dude? He comes up, puts 40 on it. Nobody. 0 humans had him on their roster. What the fuck is going on? It's bullshit.
He's gonna be the top pick here this next waiver.
And he'll do nothing no week.
Yeah, that's the way it goes though, right? That's the way it goes. People are gonna blow all their fab, and then they're gonna be sorry here come later weeks.
Bijan Robinson finally did something for his fantasy owners. Put up 26 points there. Henry 26 again. Joe Mixon with a return, 28 big fantasy points. So. And then a lot of people are probably happy to see Najee Harris do something finally with that Pittsburgh offense. So those are guys you can turn to basically every week. DeAndre Swift is in this top list too again this week, and obviously not one of those guys you would normally say you could turn to, but in the last couple of weeks, I think he's proven to be pretty solid. He's turning up every week. Chicago's becoming a little better on offense now that Caleb Williams getting the ball in the end zone, and he's a guy you can trust. And then you got Montgomery, who's just. He's the guy there. Gibbs is so good, but Montgomery's actually the dude that seems to be completely ripping.
I mean, they're 1A, 1B type of situation. Oh, there you go.
Fields and the Chicago Bears. You keep it going. We'll just show it. We don't want to stall the show.
No worries, man. No worries, man. I'm in La La Land here again. Sorry in advance, but yeah. Hey, back to Detroit and what they're doing. I mean, it's impressive, and I know that we'll
get into that a little later too after we touch on all the scores this week for sure.
Do you want to jump into the scores, or we want to hit some receivers here really quick?
No. We still got about 5 minutes fantasy. I think we'll throw down some people's throats, but Kamara, Pierce rolling good. A guy that's actually coming around that people might have started to toss away earlier in the season, Alexander Madison. He's kind of emerging as more the guy for Las Vegas, so that's a sneaky guy you might want to trade for in fantasy. Try and get him on a guy's roster. Garendo comes in for an injured Jordan Mason and puts up 10 points, which isn't huge, but it seems like anybody comes into that offense in the 49ers and they're able to put up points. So interesting to see that. And again, Trav, thank you for joining the space. You're welcome to pop in anytime. Come say hi. Chat with the boys. We're here just chilling.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. Love to chat with you. Dude, killer first name too. badass first name.
Yeah, it's Trav. Trav is a decent first name. Hey, I seen as I popped it on to the wide receivers. I seen a name that I don't know if I wanted to see where it was, but where was it? St. Brown. I thought I seen the name St. Brown. Anyways, Godwin massively topping the list, 38 points, a huge week for him. Another one that continues to go off. Debo Samuel puts up a big week. And then the return of A.J. Brown, big 25-pointer. Flowers gets his season high in yards this week to 23 points, doing it for everybody. Anybody who listened to me and put Romeo Dobbs into their DFS lineup when I was yapping about it on socials, they were loving that. Where was St. Brown? I thought St. Brown did good. We got CD Lamb, 16 points, halfway down the pack. There we are, St. Brown, 14. The guy with a little line because he's on my team. But St. Brown's kind of been mid-pack this year. He hasn't quite stepped up to the bar like Jamar Chase or Justin Jefferson. And same with CD Lamb, a little bit of work to do. There's only kind of two of those four guys that were that consensus top that have been getting it done consistently. The other guy would be A.J. Brown. He was out for about 3 weeks, so we'll see if he keeps the pace or not.
So looking at, I think CD's been okay. Jamar Chase really last week was a massive week for him, but prior to that really didn't do a whole lot. So, I think that there's still a lot of season left to do this. We were talking Godwin and the points that he put up today. I had Mike Evans in a parlay anytime tutty, and obviously that killed it for me today. But Evans had some opportunities. Unfortunately, it didn't happen, and that was that big win. But somebody that's been putting up some great numbers that I'd like to see, I got him on one of my rosters, Scary Terry McLaurin with Washington. You got a good young QB coming in, and now this year, Scary Terry is putting up the yardage, putting up the tutties, man, and it's been pretty cool to see. Ooh, upside down. Who do we got?
Mac Jones.
Josh Allen card.
What do I got to put?
It's a QB pack, a little QB pack happening here.
Yeah, we got a little Swifties. Any Swifties want this? It's up for auction. $87. Travis Kelce. You can buy that right now. Oh, and speaking of the big dog at wide receiver today, baby, let's go. The gods know she's a Chris Godwin day. Oh, it looks like there's something cute in here. I don't know if there is or not, but she's going to take it. Jared Goff. Let's see. We're pausing the show to go through a random pack. Jared Goff. And then we got the fancy looking card. Oh, just the draft class. Jordan, New York Giants, Jalen Hyatt, draft class card. Nothing too special because Daniel Jones is on the Giants. It'll really suck. Moving on.
Hey, I have a quick question for you. And I might be asking this at the wrong time. What is your take on Pickens? All the drama with him this week and the reduced snaps that he's seeing. And, obviously, less than ideal numbers from him this week, 5 points, this week, 8 points, last week, 5 points. What's your take on the Steelers wide receiver situation?
I haven't honestly been following the Steelers super, super closely. I've just more been following Justin Fields than anything. And seeing him do well has been awesome to see because I like to ride the glory train that I told everybody so that he would be good. Haven't really been following the Pickens drama. So you as a Steelers fan, feel free to give it to me.
Yeah, no, there's just been a lot of chat around Pickens this week, last week. The offensive coordinator, Arthur Smith, has restricted his snaps. I think he's down. I don't know what percentage he is down, but it is definitely resulting in less fantasy points for him. Lots of drama in the locker room with him over the last couple of weeks. And it is what it is. It's unfortunate. Hopefully he can kind of lock it in and start making some plays out there.
Well, it looks like you're trying to blame Pickens on, trying to blame the coach. But it looks like Pickens had 8 targets. Lots of opportunity there.
Yeah,
guys just playing on a piece of shit team. The only good player on it is Justin Fields.
The quarterback. Get him the ball. Get him the ball.
Yeah, and whatever. He just obviously Pickens, subpar player, can't catch it when you got a guy of that caliber throwing you and you're missing 5 of them. So that's my take on that one.
Yeah, there you go. Love it.
Oh, I had to give you one.
No, you're good.
And then the last position we'll touch on. Tight end, Cole Kmet coming out of nowhere with the rest of the the entire organization there for the Chicago Bears. 24 points. Kittle, your nonstop stud. And then Evan Engram, anybody who was wise enough to plug him in when they said he was healthy today, loving it. And then Trey McBride, who I faded heavily as another top 5 performance. And of course, Mark Andrews sneaking in as a top 5-6 guy this week when I finally benched him. I give up. I'm like, I'm not playing this guy. And Mark Andrews just absolutely dominates.
Absolutely. And then, who had performed well the last few weeks in Goddard, Dallas Goddard. Yeah, he
was out early, so that sucks for anybody that started him.
Yeah, hamstring injury early in the game kind of clipped him, and hopefully he can come back strong for all the Goddard fantasy owners out there.
Oh, word. Well, you got to carry it for 2 seconds while I try to set something up.
Yeah, no worries. So that was the last of the fantasy scores we're going to go over. We're going to jump into the games of the week. Obviously, the Sunday night game is happening right now. We had some. I'm really enjoying the early morning Sunday games. So the past 2 weeks we've had the games in England, I believe. I think that's where the game was here. Panthers, Bears. Last week was, what was it? Jets and who was it? It was Jets and
Vikings.
It was Jets and the Vikings. Yeah, that was a killer one as well,
baby.
Yeah. So I think we can probably kick it off this week with where we're at. Who we're starting with on the Thursday night game. We got the Niners and the Seahawks in Seattle. Speaking of, I was in Seattle last weekend, baby.
Slid out of there that I haven't seen yet in any of these packs, but that's okay. Keep going. It's sitting right here. It's sitting right there.
Okay, I won't look. I was saying I was in Seattle here last weekend. Great city. They had the game Sunday night. I was flying out Sunday, so I missed the game, but really loved Seattle. Stayed down from the Space Needle, got to check out the Climate Pledge Arena, home of the Seattle Kraken, the public market. Nobody threw me a fish. I didn't catch a fish, didn't buy any fish, but it's a pretty cool little spot. I was really surprised. That was my first time in downtown Seattle, and I was really surprised, really enjoyed the city, and hope to get back up there, hope to catch a game next time. But yeah, Thursday night, Niners were in the town, and the Niners did what the Niners do and pulled out the victory. Purdy, 3 TDs, 255 yards. Debo with the game, 102 yards, 1 tutty. Way it goes. All right, what is it? What are we looking at here? Show me what we're looking at.
So we pulled this bad boy out of there. So Parker Washington, wide receiver. Don't really know who he is. He's not really on the radar for me. He's one of the Jags guys. Would have been cool if it was like a Brian Thomas or a cooler player, obviously, but fancy card auto rookie. Obviously would have been super rad if that was like the CJ Stroud that we're chasing, or like a Jamar Gibbs is one I'm chasing. But that's the coolest one I've seen come out of any of these packs yet. So shouts to Parker Washington. Make yourself a hell of a career, bud, so that I can cash in on this bad boy.
There you go, man. That's a sweet one. Is that just like laser printed autographed, or are they autographing them and throwing them in the pack? How's that work?
Autograph. It looks like there's an autograph with a sticker over top of it. That's what I can tell. It looks like it was autographed, and then it looks like they put either the sticker's autographed or the card's autographed, and then there's a sticker over it. I can't tell, but it's definitely like an autographed one because that's why they're so valuable usually.
So moving back, let's go back to the Thursday night game. Talking about Geno Smith. Throwing the ball 52 times, completing 30, a couple interceptions. Kenneth Walker, not much of a running game for Seattle. Did good.
Still got 20 fantasy points for anybody who played him though, so that's good. So
he had a touchdown, 32 yards rushing, couple receptions. That's where he got most of his value. However, Seattle doesn't get it done. San Francisco gets the dub on Thursday.
Word, I'm setting you. Sorry, I'm just resetting your screen because it's annoying me the way it's.
No worries. That might just be my face. That might not be your screen. That might not be your screen. That might just be my face.
No, it's just because of that layout we were testing. And for anybody who doesn't know, don't mind me. We were just testing the layout. Next game.
Yeah. No worries. Yeah, next game, Jaguars Bears. Again, the early game today from overseas, from Europe. Jaguars, man. We talked a little bit earlier about Caleb Williams and the performance he had, 4 touchdowns, just a killer overall performance with the Jaguars. What do you do now? You really felt like they were changing directions. They had struggled for so many years in the early to mid 2000s, and I guess probably, the 2010s. Do we call it the 10s? What do we even call it? 2010, 2012.
We should make up a name for it. Like the 20,
I don't know.
I guess the 2010s, but
but I mean, bottom line,
10s, I don't know.
Bottom line, they struggled, and then it looked like Trevor Lawrence coming to town with that long hair. He was the savior, and took him to the playoffs and played well. But this year, 1-5, salty start, losing to the Bears. What's your take on Jacksonville and where they're going?
I mean, I've been trying to figure out, is it Doug Peterson? Is it Trevor Lawrence? Is Trevor Lawrence just cooked? I mean, he had a great career in college. He lost like 1 game to Joe Burrow. Other than that, he was basically undefeated. But is Trevor Lawrence the guy? I mean, he hasn't really accomplished anything yet. Obviously, didn't really have a fair chance out the first couple games, or first season or two, because he got drafted under the worst team. There's a reason they picked him, because they were the worst team. Since then, I feel like they've given him some weapons. That said, you got a really good running back, probably the best guy on your team, Travis Etienne. Feed him the ball, see if that helps, see if anything comes of that, right? Those are things that they should be doing. And if you're a Travis Etienne fantasy owner, you're just kicking yourself in the ass. And this week, he gets like nothing. Biggs, because he's hurt. Bigsby gets 2 points, and some other dude, who knows who he is, gets at least not 37, so you don't have to cry that hard, but 6 points. The best performer is, well, I guess we know who he is, Dearness Johnson, I think. Or no, that's Cleveland. But either way,
no, you're right. You're right, Dearness Johnson.
Okay, yeah, that guy likes to vulture some goodies. But yeah, it's just not going where they wanted for sure. They need to turn around. I mean, the playoffs are probably out of sight. So can they make it a good season worth keeping everybody around or not? That's the big question, I think, now for them.
Absolutely.
We already touched on the Bears a little bit because they were some big fantasy performers. We touched on that game quite a bit. Buccaneers, not quite the Bushleague beatdown of the day, but what a game. And the first card in this next pack, Baker Mayfield, you love to see it. He will be the number 1 quarterback fantasy after this week. Guys just slinging it. And we already touched on that. Just a huge performance out of him. Big game from the Saints too, trying to run it down everybody's throat as normal. And Spencer Rattler gets his first start with Derek Carr injured. Not that they're benching Carr for Rattler or anything. Carr's just injured, but he came out, he did okay. 22 for 40. 243 yards, a tutty, 2 interceptions. Baker Mayfield had 3 interceptions. It was one of those games, just high scoring and lots of back and forth and not a lot of defense.
Absolutely. And then looking at the running game for Tampa was there as well with Sean Tucker, 14 carries, 136.
Yeah,
and
whoever the fuck Sean Tucker is.
Exactly. Right? But I mean, he, 9 yards a carry. What are we looking at here? Yeah,
we're looking at the top fantasy waiver wire pickup of next week. I wouldn't spend more than like 10-20% of my remaining fab on him if it was me, just because I don't really think he's got that much potential. They got 2 good guys there. Who the hell is he? But he just made a case for it, so who's to say, right?
He absolutely did, man. Hopefully he gets paid. Hopefully he keeps it going and gets paid.
Saints. Commanders, Ravens coming at us with a 30-23. Ravens really needed that victory to keep the momentum going, obviously, with the Commanders. But the Ravens are the team that I think way higher expectations coming for Lamar and everybody on that side. So barely pulled it off. Obviously, Daniels is showing that he is a great young player. But it's been interesting to see that the league, going in that direction, setting up. I think they said it's the first time in, I can't remember how, a while, where the former Heisman played the MVP like that season or whatever, right? So that was kind of cool to have that matchup, and Lamar runs away with it. Yeah,
he does. And, I don't know if there was any nerves at the beginning of the season. Baltimore goes down 0-2. So does Cincinnati. What are we going to do? Which one of these teams is going to break out? And, I really do expect them both to continue to play well. I don't even know the score of the Cincy game right now. Probably should check on that here. That's a live game going on right now, Sunday Night Football. But Lamar Jackson bringing it home, 20 for 26, 323, 1 tutty. Derrick Henry, he went to the right spot, right? Going to Baltimore. Derrick Henry had the option of going a lot of places, to include, I believe, probably here in Dallas, and he made the right choice going to Baltimore, and is just re-energized his career. It's so cool to see. I got him in both my leagues. Let's go.
Nice. That up, boy. Love to see it. DJ Moore. Justin Herbert, he was slinging it today too.
All right, what's the next game on the docket?
Cardinals Packers, and like I say, it's 10-3 or 10-7. I just updated the score in the bottom corner on the right side. Bengals Giants 10-7. Bengals are up in the fourth quarter. We'll miss it because we'll be live on the show, but that's all right. I'll catch the replays after. But Cardinals Packers, Cardinals, for anybody that started Marvin Harrison, tears, right? I started him along with Jerome Ford, who's another guy that went down early, got me 1 point. Marvin Harrison went out without so much as getting even a single point. So that sucked. That's going to ruin me. I have a couple fantasy leagues that I'm going to lose by like 8 points. And I have both of them. I have Marvin Harrison Jr. and Jerome Ford, who combined for 1 point. And so he went out on concussion. If we're lucky, hopefully he's back next week, but we'll see.
I was going to say, let's get some sympathy going here, man. The guy's got a concussion. It's not all about
you got a Jackson Smith, the Jeeber rookie. No, concussion is the one thing where I have like no sympathy. Like, cool, I'm glad that we learned it and we understand it. That's awesome. Get him off the field, be safe. But if he's good to go, get him the fuck back in there. We know it's not a broken leg. I know I don't have to live with this guy unless you're Tagovailoa. Hopefully he's back within a week or two at worst case scenario. Not that like it's a good thing that someone gets a concussion, but it's like the best injury for fantasy. They come back pretty soon. But at the end of the day, wish them all great health. And that's what's most important.
Absolutely. Let's move on, if you're okay, to Colts Titans.
Yep. Joe Flacco slinging it. He just come off the couch and this never ends.
Dude, I mean, Joe Flacco is every 40-year-old man's spirit animal. They want to be him. They want to live that life. This morning I woke up and I had my game. I was at my daughter's soccer game and I see Anthony Richardson's out, and I look at my bench for QB. And all I got on my bench is Sam Darnold, who's on bye this week. And I'm like, who do I pick up? So I go to the waiver wire and I'm looking to see who's available. And all I have available is Daniel Jones and Joe Flacco. And for sure I'm going Flack Daddy over Daniel Jones all day. All day.
Gotta go Daddy Flack all day.
Yeah.
Ooh, look at this card that I pulled, and we'll get into it a little later, but Aiden Hutchinson down with a broken tibia, immediate surgery in Dallas today. We wish him speedy recovery and best of wishes to him.
Yeah.
I also have an Aiden Hutchinson rookie card, green foil back, that's up for grabs in the Bushleague Fantasy Sports Tournament for the highest score in the Vayner Sports Pass League. Vayner Sports, obviously the agency that Aiden Hutchinson is under. So that's why they had that little bonus prize for their league, but sad to see him go down. We'll touch on that a little later in the game, but just a little precursor because we pulled the Aiden Hutchinson card.
Love it. Moving on to the Texans versus New England. I think, kind of what we expected here. I know Texans put up some numbers. Texans defense put up some numbers fantasy wise on New England there. CJ Stroud, pretty solid game. Not a whole lot of passing yards, but three touchdowns. Mixon coming back. I sat Mixon. I do have Mixon in both my leagues as well. I sat him in one, played him in another. Should have played him in both. Great fantasy day for Mixon. And then
I'm glad I got him fired back up in most of my leagues this week.
Yeah, and then Stephon Diggs coming out as top receiver for the Texans this week. So,
and I didn't see did Tank Dell have a pretty good game. I didn't check actually. I can just pull it up right now and look really quick. Receiving yards, Stephon Diggs. What do we get? Yeah, Tank Dell 7 for 57. You love to see it. Obviously, he's got some shoes to fill with Nico Collins go down. Nico Collins, number one receiver in the league right now, and he's down and out. So Tank Dell showed last year he could do it. That's why everybody's drafting him so high, and I guess paid off. They're getting to use him early in the year, but Tank Dell stepping up and getting it done. And then Drake May, there's a kid in the stands with his old Jones jersey, or Mac Jones jersey, and he's got it crossed off with May written over top. But probably not the way you should treat the jersey. But that's what he's running. But yeah, Texans run all over the Patriots, to be expected.
Yeah, absolutely. On to the Eagles and Browns. You get to move on?
Yep, Browns, Eagles. Deshaun Watson with another poor performance. He's going to really need to step it up. I mean, Seems like, I hate to say it, but the guy needs the tuggies if he's performing, right? Get him off the tuggies. And we got a lackluster performance coming out of the guy, right? When he was on the tuggies, high performance, right? Take the tuggies away, no performance. So,
Dude, Cleveland's a black hole, man. Cleveland's a black hole. I mean, there's no other way to say it. Looking at what Washington's doing this year with,
speaking of Washington, that's my rookie card, baby.
yeah, what
I
Washington's
wish I would
doing.
have got anybody that I actually know. Sorry, Parker Washington, but whatever.
I was talking about the Commanders. I was talking about the Washington Commanders and what they're doing and kind of turning it around. Washington's been a tough place to play, a tough place to be a fan of for many years. And I'm hoping that they can keep it going because Cleveland has not. You saw some glimmer of hope when Baker was the QB there, and they started to make the playoffs, and now they put all their money and all their time into Deshaun Watson, and yeah, I guess it was a waste, or was it a waste? It's seeming like it.
Well, and only could it happen to, and again, shouts to anybody joining us while we're live on Twitter. You feel free to come up. You can ask questions live in the show. We'll take your takes live. Trav, pop up. We need to test some audio. Feel free to request up, brother. Hopefully you can hear me. But only Browns fans would have to watch Baker Mayfield become the best quarterback in the league too, right? At the same time, right? They trade everything away to get Deshaun Watson, and then they got to watch that happen in the same breath.
Oh God, it's a joke. Again, being a Steeler fan, we prided ourselves on making Browns fans sad, so I'm not upset about it at all. But hey, looking at a day for the Eagles, like you said, AJ Brown back, 116 yards, 1 touchdown. Jalen Hurts, pretty solid game, 2 touchdowns. Saquon, 47 yards rushing. Not a big rushing day for Saquon, but got the win anyway, and moving on to next week.
I had an empty roster spot or two in a couple leagues, so I just picked up Kenneth Gainwell because I didn't know who to pick up, and then started teasing all the guys that own Saquon that he was going to get injured, and it's Kenneth Gainwell season, so we'll see if that happens or not. Moving on to Chargers Broncos, super lackluster game. Broncos getting walked all over, 20-0 to get it going. I was watching that game and it was not looking good. Bo Nix, he keeps doing okay in the fourth quarter. He's had one game where he played a complete game, which was last week. He played pretty okay, still kind of slow in the first quarter. But he's had 200-yard and decent looking end of game stats over and over again. And it's continually coming in the fourth quarter. You watch them the defense has been really, again, didn't start out that hot, let out 20 points pretty early, but then held them to 3 points for the rest of the game. But Bo Nix is he's not playing good until seemingly the last quarter. Do that for 3-4 quarters, this guy would be 400 or 500 yards a game, but instead he's only doing it for the last 14 minutes of every game.
Yeah, that's rough, man. So I saw him. I actually turned on the game at the fourth quarter today, and I was like, he looks pretty good. He looks pretty solid today. Yeah. So I was, kind of shocked to see. But when I turned it on, yeah, it was. I mean, I can't recall the score, but it wasn't 23-16. That's for sure. I was actually shocked just now to see that they ended up putting up 16 on the day.
Yep. So there we go. My boys get a loss. They go to 3-3. And moving on to your boys, Steelers, who are sitting at, what are they at on the season this year?
They're 4-2. 4-2
now, going after that big win, taking Vegas to 2-4, 32-13. Tomlin, we were saying, might see his first losing season. I said that. You didn't. I said that. Okay. But it's not looking like that's going to be the case. They're doing really good this year. Like I said, maybe George Pickens is crying around a little bit. I don't know much about that. You could feel free to fill in, the great listeners of the Bush League Sports universe. And again, in the future too, we're going to be giving away some of these cards in the future. We're going to work a couple more things out over the next few weeks in the show. In the future, we're going to be giving out some cards during the show. You come up, give a take. Come interact during the show, and we're just gonna give some shit away. That's what we're gonna start doing around here. We're just gonna start giving stuff away. So feel free to leave a comment today. Maybe I'll give you something. I don't know.
There you go, man. I'm gonna have to leave a comment. Give me something, please. Give me something. Anyway, I don't know what to think of the Steelers. I don't think that I'm a Steeler. No, I don't think the Steelers have played They haven't had a tough schedule yet. Haven't played any really strong teams. Lost to Dallas last week, which was absolutely wild. We didn't really get to talk about that, but 4th and 5, last play of the game, Dallas scores, wins the game. The Raiders aren't much. They're starting, a congresswoman from somewhere in the Northeast as their quarterback, AOC. I've never even heard of her before, so come on. That was a decent joke. You know what I mean? You're not like, it was a decent joke. And you're just ignoring me. You're like,
I don't mean to ignore you. You got to remember that we're poor, right? This is Bush League Sports. We got nobody running the stream. So I'm in the back end prepping the next segment, doing things. Sometimes I just can't take it all in. My little brain only has so much capacity.
No worries. I was comparing Aiden O'Connell, AOC, to AOC, the U.S. Congresswoman, and stating that. I mean, what do you expect?
Of course, the mustache. We're in support of Gardner Minshew big time. The boys got the mustaches. We want Minshew back. We want Minshew. We want Minshew.
I agree. But
no, hold on. Never mind. Because in one of these other packs, I don't know this again. I don't know this Parker Washington, but in one of these other packs, I pulled the Aiden O'Connell patch. So actually, we want Aiden O'Connell to be good. I need that card to go up in value. So keep going, Aiden O'Connell. Hoorah.
So I'm pretty sure, and I'm not seeing it right now, and maybe that's just because I'm looking at it the stats wrong. But Justin Fields had 2 rushing TDs as well, correct?
Yep, he did.
Yeah, I think he had a decent game. Oh yeah, there we go. More stats. That's where we're at. Yes, Justin Fields, 11 carries, 59 yards, 2 touchdowns. Strong game by. Oh, dude, nice stash. Are you just showing me your stash? I look up from my stats.
How long I could do that?
How long did you have your stash in the screen?
Probably like 15 seconds. I've seen how long it would roll. Maybe 20. Man. I was rolling for a bit. So you say that I ignore you. You don't even pay attention to my mustache. 15 seconds.
But I'm listening, and I'm looking down at my phone. Okay, all right. Well, hey, we're over it. We're over the Steelers. They're going on.
And we're moving on to the Falcons. Panthers with a big 38-20 win for the Falcons. Panthers, not a win, but I guess showing signs of life at least every game. Dalton's been getting him 20 points or better. He got a win in his first one where they put up big numbers. But again, Dalton looking okay out there. I guess Carolina, all they could ask for is something's happening and better than nothing. I'm still interested to see when Brooks comes back, the rookie running back. They drafted the first running back taken in the draft this year, if that will change their offense any. But just I don't know what do they need. They've sucked for so many years and they're not getting better with all these picks, right? Like
you can't. I mean, that's another black hole. Let's not talk about the black hole that is the Panthers right now. But I mean, Dalton's coming in two TDs today, a decent passing game. He's opening up the running game with his arm. He's opening up. Chuba Hubbard comes in, 8 yards shy of 100. That's a decent game, right? They kept it close. I think the game was a little bit closer than 38-20. I caught the end of it. I don't think you can be mad at that score based on what we've seen out of the Panthers for the last 3 years, right? 3-4 years, maybe even longer. Who knows? Yeah, exactly. So I'd be stoked if I were the Panthers organization to have Andy Dalton come in and at least show that there's promise in this team based on where they were before.
Yep. Well, and the last game of the week, we'll get onto it. We'll move into some hockey here right away.
Say, man, you know the best part of waking up is not giving a fuck? Well, you do now. Rock with the present. Big Snoop DOWG, Death Row mixtape, and this is for you. You.
Bushleague Beatdown! Brought to you by Bam Bam Boxing. Check out the workouts today.
Obviously, big shouts to Bam Bam Boxing, some of the best online workouts on the planet. But we got the Bush League beatdown, an absolute stomping from the Detroit Lions, 47-9. Oh my Lord! Like Jerry Jones got to be rolling in his grave. Oh wait, he's not dead yet. Like he's old as fuck though. But holy shit, man, he's like, I don't know if he's gonna see another one in his lifetime. At the rate this is going, Dak Prescott gets me like 3 fantasy points. Get the out of here. CD Lamb at least did something. He got 16 or 17, but I don't know what they're doing over there. but not what we wanted to see. And as per the norm, Bushleague Sports, I start talking about the team while I have the other team stats up. But regardless, Rico Dowdle with the most rushing yards on the team at 25. Like, what are they doing, man? Just fire everybody. Give Dalvin Cook the ball, 25 touches next week. I want to see what happens.
That's so the problem in Dallas right now is, I mean, there's tons of problems, right? It's a nightmare. And they beat the Steelers last week, by the way, but they don't have a running game. They don't have a running game at all. So all it is Dak trying to throw the ball all game long. When you go in and you play it, you go in and you play a solid team like the Lions. This is what's going to happen. This is what's going to happen when you can't mix it up. You can't mix in your running game. And, losing Pollard this past season was a killer. It hurt them, and hopefully they can figure it out. But right now, Dak's sitting on that bag of money right now, loving life, bulldozing his house, building another one, probably fucking $10 million. Who knows? 50 million. Dak's loaded, right? It's trouble in Cowtown, that's for sure. I guess Cowtown's not Dallas, but it's DFW, so it counts.
Well, and then you look at the Detroit Lions, just absolute domination. David Montgomery, another big game, 80 yards, 2 tutties. Jamar Gibbs ripping. What you see down here, though, is we got Sam Laporta and Amon-Ra St. Brown, who were drafted in round 1 and 2. I don't give a shit, 47 points. Get Jamison Williams out of the top. Get Khalif Raymond out of there. Get Tim Patrick the fuck back to Denver where he belongs. They let him go for nothing because they don't know what they're doing over there. We won't get into that. But we need fantasy points out of the people that we drafted in the top rounds. This is absolute shenanigans. We won't stand for it anymore. People are like, oh, it doesn't matter. It's fantasy. It matters more than anything in the world. Fantasy matters more than everything. Fantasy gambling, football is nothing without the degenerate gamblers like us. So you must appease us. You cannot lie about Christian McCaffrey at the start of the season. You cannot get random whoever the fuck wide right 3-4-5s getting all the yardage on a night when the boys are starting Laporta and St. Brown. The guys like figure it out and just understand who runs the money around here, and it's all of us that lose it. So please have a little respect for our fantasy lineups. Thank you.
I am very interested in having the McCaffrey conversation at the end of the season, at the end of the fantasy season. So when we get the NFL playoffs, I want to have the McCaffrey situation, and I want to understand what happened. And was it malicious to continue to bring in revenue from fantasy, from sports betting? You know what I mean? It's so interesting. And if there was some shenanigans going on, man, we live in a weird world.
Fire them all. Fire them all. That's what I say.
Well, yeah.
Obviously I'm full of shit, but who are these guys? We need our guys we drafted in top. We need Mark Andrews. We need boys like that getting fantasy points. But nonetheless, big win, absolute whomping for the Detroit Lions. And we're going to take a minute. It's like we touched on a Bushleague beatdown, a little bit of Bam Bam Boxing. We'll run a promo from our boys over at Bam Bam, and we will chat all kinds of hockey. We got a little bit of hockey to get into. NHL season kicked off just this last week, and we are looking forward to getting into that. Now we get to chat a little bit of hockey. We'll see how you like it. Let's go. Fantasy League, baby. Let's go, baby.
Hi, everybody. Joel Mills here with Bam Bam Fitness Club, here to introduce our Tuesday, Thursday MetaBand workouts. Some of the best training I've ever done. These little MetaBands, like having a gym in your back pocket. You can do anything with them.
Starting it off, palms up, and we're just going to march the high knees. Time, guys.
Focusing mainly on resistance exercise and stability holds, guys. We're working that core throughout the entire hour.
Maintaining the pressure of the outside of the bed. Trying to pulse our chest up as that band comes down to the hips.
When we're working with the MetaBand, it's amazing how joint health, balance, general well-being, deep breathing, all of these things combined in the MetaBands class to send you on your way, your fittest, happiest, most energized self.
45. Bringing that band up as high as we can. We got 10. Good stuff. Back to wall rows. Time.
1 hour, guys, Tuesday, Thursday mornings.
It's about the reps. It's about the mechanics. It's about working the right muscle groups. My main focus as I'm training is to feel good.
We're going to train hard. We're going to break our muscles down so they grow back bigger, stronger week by week. These workouts are the best. Thanks for being on here with us at the Bam Bam Fitness Club. Can't wait to see you at MetaBand. Awesome job. Until next time.
All right, if you guys haven't checked those workouts out, you gotta check them out. Some of the best online workouts in the game. I know we were doing like push-up competitions and shit. We should maybe get back into that. We were dusting like 50 at a time. Boys were strong as fuck out there.
I forgot about that, man. That was a blast. We were in here, had to move the camera to see us doing the push-ups when we were losing our weekly bets. That was pretty fun. We may need to bring that back here in a couple of weeks, man.
Nice, love it, love it. Well, we're getting into hockey, second half. I even changed studios here partway through. We're just fully advanced in the Bushleague studio here. Full Detroit. The Wings, baby, starting off another season. I actually just crawled up on the shop about 3 days ago. Shout out to my employee and good friend Derek. He helped me. I went up on the roof, changed the flag out, put a new Red Wings flag up for hockey season. We are flying, baby. But it's been cool to see a couple games. Like I said, the season started off just a fucking Bettman mess as normal. Why is the regular season going on in Prague? There's still 3 games of the preseason. Nobody knows what's happening. What are you doing? Like, could you just start the season like when the preseason's over? It's just like them doing the round 2 playoffs while round 1's still going in shenanigans. There was 1 point 1 year where round 2 was almost done one series before round 1 was over for another 7 games. But just shut her down, Bettman.
So they want to give the guys coming back from overseas time to come readjust and, get in the swing of things and start playing essentially when everybody else starts playing. However, that's not necessary. You got a 6-month season. They can catch up on games. You know what I mean? You can schedule it effectively. So you bring them back, you give them a 4-day rest, and then you get them looped in and maybe you run them 4 games a week for, 2 or 3 weeks at some point, and that's going to catch them right up, so it was super interesting how the Sabres are 0-2 and their team's still playing preseason games.
Yeah, I love it. It's cool to see the dog himself, Jaromir Jagr, dropping the puck to open the season 2 in Prague. So that was a cool kickoff to NHL season this year. You love to see it. And you might have noticed quick hat change. Shout out to our buddies over at Vayner Sports Pass. I forgot to touch on it when we were in the NFL segment, but obviously got to go down to a Broncos Jets game too a couple weeks ago, thanks to Vayner Sports, and hang out with all that crew and Gary and AJ Vaynerchuk. So that was a pretty awesome experience. Maybe we'll touch on that on the way out. But shout out to Vayner Sports, keeping me with the sexy, beautiful hats. But it's just been cool start to hockey season for sure. Red Wings, Tarasenko gets first, Gino. Philly Husso, not the greatest first game, but the Detroit defense wasn't looking all that great either in that very first game. But a big shutout for Cam Talbot in game 2. We've had a few shutouts to start the season. Montembeault with Montreal gets a shutout. The Oilers get shut out, which we'll chat on a little bit to start the season. But I think we wanted to start with some goalie banter today.
Hold on real quick. Detroit, I don't know how that happens. Like the NHL, these guys are all professionals, right? So the Penguins go in, get spanked at home, first game of the season on NHL by NHL on TNT, 6-0 by the Rangers, head up to Detroit, play this defenseless game, beat Detroit, then Detroit comes out and gets a shutout the next game, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's early season, right?
Yeah, it's wild, man.
It's kind of like the NFL where like one team's like dominate one week, they're 0-3, and then they lose 3 in a row. It's so early in the season, especially in a hockey season where like
feeling each other out. Yeah, it's crazy.
And I mean, you'll even get that late in the season, right? Obviously, just some teams they win a lot more than they lose, but there's hockey games can be pretty like dynamically like diverse in terms of like a good team can just get like dummied one night for a lot of puck luck, and who knows what else goes on, right? But we should really dive into the goalies. I think that's a big thing that's been going on to get the season going. Obviously, a lot of controversy with the Swayman contract with the Boston Bruins. They sent Allmark out of there to Ottawa. He's been playing pretty good up in the motherland of Canada. They shouldn't have kicked us out of there when we had our protest. Screw you, Trudeau. We were just being peaceful MFers trying to save the country. Anyways, Linus Allmark may save the team. But Jeremy Swayman, big negotiations, lots of nonsense back and forth. Was it Spit and Chicklets causing all the nonsense? Like, should we maybe be the premier sports show? Maybe we'll tape down the rumors.
Don Sweeney said the Spitting Up on Yourself podcast, not Spit and Chicklets. So I'm not really sure what podcast he was talking about. But that was a wild time. And I was 100% sure Sweeney was going I'm sorry, not Sweeney, that Swayman was being traded. And then all of a sudden they got him locked up for 8.25 like a day later. And I'm wondering if it was all for show. Was this all a big
and was it all for show from them, or was it all just made up by media? And we're just a bunch of idiots falling for a bunch of made up shit, which is probably what it is, honestly.
Well, but I'm not mad at it, man. It made the last 3 weeks before the season started freaking exciting. Or maybe not 3 weeks. That's a long time. A week and a half. It was exciting. It was fun. I was stoked to look at my phone every day, trying to figure out where this guy was going and if he was going to sign. And man, the Bees management's a joke and too funny. And then, they finally sign him. And the beginning of the year, they can't play him. They signed him like a day before the first game. And Corpusalo, who is their backup or who was going to be their starter, starts the first day and just gets wrecked. Just gets absolutely wrecked by the defending Stanley Cup champions. And
Inner got wrecked today too.
Yeah, and then you got the Florida crowd hollering, "We want Swayman!" Just love the story of it. But 8 years by $8.25 million. Swayman's going to be in Boston for a long time.
Well, and it might be a good thing Boston locked that up when they did. You see all this battle back and forth, and you're frozen on the screen. Oh, there, you're back, baby. Because we hear word of Igor Shesterkin turning down an 8-year, $11 million. And you're sitting there going that's almost Draisaitl numbers. And holy shit, if Swayman would have heard that and any of this stuff is true, he might have been saying, fuck you guys, I want $10 million. That's a big number for attendee, unprecedented territory in the NHL. So we'll see what goes on with that Shesterkin negotiation in New York. That's big money for attendee.
He is the best goaltender in the league, debatably, and he is the best player on the New York Rangers. The best player on, not the best player. Let's say one of the best players on the Oilers just received $14 million. You know what I mean? Yeah. The best player on the Stars right now is making $13 million, right? The best player on the Leafs right now is making, what's he making? Like $12.5 million, right?
Best player on Pittsburgh's making $8.7, buddy. Sorry, counter argument.
Team friendly deal. Yeah. So I don't know, man. I don't know. We'll have to see how this works out. And you've seen since Swayman signed, everybody else has signed. And Allmark signed the extension at 4 or 5 years at 8.25, same deal. Connor Ingram in Utah, who's 3-0, by the way, signed 5.25 for 3 years. So right now goalies are kind of falling into place to where they're going to be for years on end. So I'm assuming that the Igor Shesterkin contract negotiations are probably going to be on hold for at least a while now due to the season. And, some of the drama is who leaks that information? Who leaks that information to the media saying that the goalie camp and the team aren't in line? Who's creating this drama? It's me and you now just continuing.
Yeah, we're creating it. Yeah, we're getting her dipping. No, I love it. But yeah, you never know, but we'll see where it all goes. Utah goalie signs up, looking for a word, cinches up his contract. They sign it, and Utah's out to a good start, winning their first couple games. Home barn. So like you said, can't see a goal from certain parts of the home barn, but whatever. There's that's how I felt at standing room at AT&T Stadium, the greatest stadium on earth, Dallas. I had to watch the whole thing on the Jumbotron. So whatever, you just got to watch a game on the Jumbotron.
So I saw some things coming out. Maybe it was from Barstool or
probably cheap seats.
Yeah, center ice or something like that, where it was like, "Would you sit here?" And I was like, well, "Yeah, of course I'll sit there if I can get that ticket." But one stat that I heard was that that stadium in Utah, which also hosts the Utah Jazz basketball team, opening night for hockey was the most they'd sold in alcohol ever. It was like, 150K or something wild like that. I don't know that exact
Yeah,
number.
no, I've seen that. I know that their owner was saying he doesn't want to like overcharge people and he wants it to be a little cheaper place than some. So we'll see how that goes. But yeah, they raked in the cheddar. But see, and these people don't understand. You sell people stuff cheaper, they consume more of it, and you actually make more money in the end. You just rob all these motherfuckers and they don't want to buy it.
Absolutely. Yeah. So I saw that. I saw those numbers there. It was like $3 for a thing of popcorn where you go to any other stadium and it's going to be $9, a bottle of water is $1, right? So absolutely wild. But that barn also, it's weird, right? It's a basketball barn. So the way the stadium is designed for a little bit smaller. So the second level looks like the club level, maybe. They have these corners that curve a little bit early, and like you're just above the glass in like looking out on the ice. And I mean, it's just a wild spot. So you have to kind of look at the corners of the second level next time you're looking at that stadium on TV and see those seats right on the corners, man. I mean, you're just looking over the glass, ready to take a puck in the teeth, man. Maybe you'll look like I don't know, Jamie Alexiak out there. With,
so you can like touch the netting, basically.
That doesn't even look like there's netting there. It looks like it's just kind of just around the corner where there's no netting. It's
well, that's okay. Yeah, that'd be a cool view for sure.
Absolutely.
We'll have to go check out a game one day in Utah. Go do some snowboarding.
Love to. I'd absolutely love to.
So then, rookie sensation Macklin Celebrini, 2 points in opening night. You love to see it. Obviously, we're going to get into a little fantasy here in a second, and then you got to run in about 10. But obviously, would look great on your fantasy squad. Kid's obviously a phenom. Ends up on the IR after the game, but I mean, what a legend if you can get 2 points and end up on the IR. So I mean, I would be making a big push for him on my fantasy roster personally.
Not many people score a goal in their first game in the NHL. Yeah, it happens. Not many people are the number 1 overall draft pick and, go to the NHL in their first game and score. One that I can think of is Mario Lemieux. Had an epic career. And if Macklin can do anything even close to what Mario did, I'd be hurting not to pick him up on my roster.
One I can think of is Austin Matthews scoring 4, but he can't score this year.
He scored 4 in his first game.
Yeah, didn't he? Wasn't it his first game? He scored 4 goals. Am I insane?
I don't. Maybe.
I'm pretty sure.
If I don't know that,
I'm pretty
sure too. No way he scored 4 goals in his first game.
It was like his first or second game. It was like game 1, 2, or 3. I'm pretty sure it's game 1. Look it up while I get into some other stuff.
All right, no worries.
I swear to God, he scored 4 goals.
No worries. All right, I'll look it up.
But anyways, we're trying to look some shit up and get your fantasy team looking like half respectable. We'll see. I want to touch on a little fantasy, and I want to know how you're enjoying the fantasy sports so far with the league we're doing there, and if you're enjoying little fantasy hockey, new thing for you.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, I'm really enjoying it, mainly because I'm looking at a dub this week right now.
Ooh, nice. Dubs are nice. Dubs are always beautiful.
Based on how it looks, I got 53 man games this week, which I don't know if that's good or bad. The guy I'm playing has 55, and I had to grind for 53. So next week will be a better kind of representation, I think, of what I'm shooting for. I have a plan for next week already. But man, I'm absolutely stoked. I'm glad that I came into this keeper league that you guys have been playing for a while. You kind of welcomed me in with open arms, and I'm really excited to figure it out. So much so that I joined another league with some other friends where it was not a keeper league. So I got to kind of draft freely. However, they have it set up differently. They don't have all of the extra stats and stat point categories. So
probably just goals and assists and stuff, or what?
They have some. They don't have face-offs. They consider all forwards the same, all defense the same. So not as deep of a bench, but it's just a different strategy. I don't think it's worse or better. It's a different strategy, something that I'm excited about, excited to play. So
it's good though. You'll learn both ways, and you'll learn what you like and prefer. I just like hockey being like, again, when it's fantasy, everybody can determine who's going to get the most points. That's pretty easy. So I like having all the stats where you kind of got to build a more well-rounded team.
Okay. Matthews had a record-setting NHL debut October 13th, 2016, when he scored 4 goals, becoming the first player in the league's modern era.
A fucking hockey historian.
He led all rookies with 40 goals, 69 points, and 279 shots on goal to win the Calder Trophy, not the Cadley.
So you should know that you're host of a sports show. Pull your knowledge.
What are we doing? What are we doing here?
For Gino's opening night, absolutely. You're like, this guy's going to be the next Wayne Gretzky, and he's obviously not. He's just a guy with a decent mustache. But what we got here, Daily Faceoff site I use often for fantasy. Easiest way to know how many man games are going on in a week. Once you have your fantasy team drafted, you know who's on your team. And for the most part, you're keeping those guys. You're not dropping William Nylander because he only plays 2 games that week. That would be absolutely dumb as could be. But what I do like doing is having 1 or 2 guys bottom of my roster, depending how many bench or what you have, that I really cycle through and get man games out of the deal. Because like we said, and even in a league where it's just points orientated, still more man games, more chance of points. Again, not going to drop your stud guys for anything like that, unless it's like the final week in playoffs and it's like, if do or die, I'll take the guy with 4 games over my stud with 1 game, probably, honestly, when you get to the end of the season. But during the season, I like to really watch these games and see who's got the most games. And if I can, if I'm going to win my match this week going into Sunday, and I realized as I was sitting here, I missed a pickup today, so I'm an idiot. It might cost me a match. But coming into Sunday today, if I have free moves and I've already won my match, I'm actually going to pick up a couple guys for next week. Because now I go into next week, I still got all 5 moves. And I've picked up a couple of guys today for next week. It's a sneaky little thing, and it becomes super helpful to me in playoffs because if I'm ahead, I'll pick up to – it's almost like I get 7 moves because I can really strategize it then. And if I'm picking up a person with my Sunday picks, I'll usually look to grab somebody who's playing, say like a Florida Panthers or LA Kings where they're going to play 3 games in those first 4 days, same as New Jersey, because – now I've used 0 moves, in essence, gotten 6 man games. Then I might drop those guys and go for a team like Carolina and pick up 2 guys from that are playing 2 games. Now I've used 2 moves that week, but I've literally gotten 10 extra man games. Drop them again, pick up 2 guys on Sunday, and all of a sudden with 4 moves, depending, some leagues there's 3, some leagues are 5, but all of a sudden with 2, technically 4, it's 6 moves, but if you do 2 the week before kind of thing, now all of a sudden with 4 or 6 moves, I've added like 14 man games, which is probably like 40 shots and, whatever else to my roster. So what I'll look to too is not just the guys with 4, that's something I might look to depending how many moves. If you have a bunch, I'm looking to that early. Let's get 3 games in those first 4 days. If you only have limited moves, I'm more looking to who's playing the most that week, 4 games. This week's going to be Colorado. Those 2 teams we just talked about, New Jersey, Pittsburgh, San Jose with Celebrini again if he's back off the IR. But then same thing. Now when I narrow it down to all those teams, I'm also now going to look and go, okay, which teams are done? Like if they're playing 4, probably not going to be done Friday. They probably have a weekend game. But which team's done on the Saturday? And so now I'm kind of omitting the Kings and the Colorado and Pittsburgh and San Jose, and I'm going more towards I want probably Jersey guys and Florida guys if possible. I would swing to the other guys if they're much better players or whatever, but I'm probably swinging towards Jersey or Florida this week and getting those 4 man games, especially if you're like a 3 pickup league. Now you can make your 2 moves Monday morning or whatever, pick up 2 guys, and you're going to get 8 man games out of that, as opposed to say you have some plug from Minnesota sitting on your roster. Well, you dump them for the week, right? And get rid of 2 games and turn it into 8. And then now you also have the option when you leave your pickups open and leave that Sunday open. Now you get that option to go into Sunday and go, what do I need? Do I need assists? Do I need blocks? Do I need a goalie win? And just make a move trying to target a win for the week kind of thing, right? So there's different ways to play it. But for me, for the most part, just kind of trying to get within 3, trying to leave 1 or 2 moves that I'm not necessarily using, maximizing it. And then come like playoff season, I'm really like nerding out hard. And that's why I usually win a lot of leagues, because I'll do that nerdy little stuff. And I might even sacrifice. I try to make sure I get a good record throughout the week, because I'll probably even sacrifice the final week of my season, even if it costs me a spot in the standings, just to set up for the first week of playoffs and be.
And that would be just to have picks for
ahead.
Sunday, to be able to move some on Sunday, right?
Yeah, just to be able to go on Sunday, my 2 or 3 guys, dump them, load up, and like, let's win the playoffs, right? Like a lot of seasons, I'll literally forego that last week and just to set up for playoffs for this reason, because it's all legal within the rules, and get the man games, get the stats, win the season.
Yeah, I love it, man. I didn't fully understand all of this when you and I first started talking about it, when you first started explaining it to me, but now I fully understand. So I'm really excited to be battling with you for some of these pickups, these waiver wire, not even waiver wire, these pickups at the end of the week here.
Love it. Well, close out the show. We might have to get into, unless there's something else NHL you want to touch on. You got anything NHL you want to touch on quick?
I don't. And I do want to say, because we're in a dynasty league that you've been running for 17,
not dynasty,
but we're in a keeper league that you've been running for 17 years, me coming in without, that solid base, my mindset is I need to get some young studs right now that maybe aren't the best in the league today, but 3 years from now, they're going to be the McKinnons. They're going to be the Matthews. They're going to be the Hughes.
Macklin Celebrini for sale, baby.
So listen, I picked up Logan Stankoven. He's looking solid right now. 3 assists in the first game. He might have had an apple. He definitely had one today. He might be up to 5 assists on the year. Kid's looking good. So we'll see. Maybe Celebrini. I know whoever owns him, 3rd round pick straight up for the 2025-26 season. We can make it work.
Might be able to negotiate on that. Might be able to send something after this wraps up. But until then, we'll get you guys dialed in next week on one of your best teams. But again, Florida, obviously, most of their guys are going to be drafted, so it's going to be hard to pick up Florida players. You might get 1 or 2 really, really bottom players. You're probably going to have a bit better luck grabbing a couple guys off that Jersey roster potentially. Again, so those are my big teams for this week. Otherwise, that's wrong with grabbing some Kings or some Colorado Avalanche, or really anybody with 3-4 games. That's where you want to go. But until then, let's get into a little Sassy Shred report.
Shredding Sassy is a social club for action sports enthusiasts from all over the world to share the love and stoke for action sports. We got chapters in Canada. We got chapters in the US, in Europe, in Asia, in Australia. We're all over the place bringing action sports to communities near you. We got discounts. We got live events. We have anything you want from an action sports perspective. So tap in with the social club. Get things like coaching from pros. Get access to pro athletes at events, in person, right to you. It's going to be a great year for Sassies, and we want you in the social club. Join the Sassies, and let's get out there, y'all. Dude, what we had this weekend was a big watch party in the Sassy Discord for the Red Bull Rampage. That event it's out of this world. It's the craziest thing. I don't know if you've ever watched it. But
no, I've been watching some, it's actual insanity. Like, they're just on a cliff, just like, it's crazy. Like, it's like, you guys have way more balls than me.
Way more balls than anybody on earth.
Way more dangerous than like most any other sport, isn't it?
I mean, it has to be. Seeing these guys wreck here, I am like yelling at my TV, like, oh no, just I can't handle watching it. So I watched the whole event yesterday. I watched the whole first heat yesterday, which was the men's final. The female final was on I believe Thursday. And I saw some highlights from that, but those drops, the gaps, the ledges, it is just on a knife's edge on a mountain bike, backflip, front flip, whips, just 360s, just a wild experience. So glad we get to watch that with some of our closest homies in the social club. Brandon Semenuk took home the gold in the Canadian boy in the males, and I'm trying to think. Robin Gooms maybe is how you say her last name. Took it in the females. I'll have to look that up and confirm. Sorry, Robin, if I screwed up your last name. But just an epic event, and it was really cool to be in Discord watching with fellow Sassies. I actually had it on my TV screen watching as well. I had a little hiccup, so Red Bull TV and via YouTube Live was streaming overseas on YouTube. However, because in the States, ESPN had that contract, it was not on YouTube in the States. So we had to do some finagling and get it working on ESPN Plus and showing for people. So
nice.
Able to knock it out.
And you guys are obviously doing all kinds of action sports showings in your Discord for anybody, open to anybody with a Shredding Sassy Social Club digital membership. Am I correct?
Yeah, you're correct. Well, actually, even if you don't have a digital membership, we would love for you guys to come in, hang with us, and chill. The digital membership does unlock some more benefits like our discounts and so on. So either way, if you're into action sports, you want to meet with pros, if you want to get with our coaches, if you want to be a part of something, bigger than just your town, come in, join the club, and it'll be a blast. I promise you.
Love it. And speaking of being part of, wasn't supposed to play, but we can play.
Say, man, did you know the best part of waking up is not giving a fuck? Now you do now. You're rocking with the best Big Snoop D-O-double-G Death Row mixtape, and this is for you. Yeah.
I didn't mean to start that one, but Snoop, thank you for the morning clip. Greatly appreciate it. But what I actually meant to just simply touch on when you said beyond just your local is obviously fundraising for my local skate park here kicked off about 2-3 weeks ago. Big shouts to some big donors who stepped up and helped me along with that project. I have a meeting with the town this coming week to chat about the project and future and when we'll start to build. Raised nearly $500,000 so far, waiting on a couple more people to come, but really just stoked about how this has moved along and just where I'm going and be able to bring that to my local community. And we'll get some Shredding Sassy merch maybe to give out to the kids over there. Your phone's ringing. You probably got to get the hell out of there. But no, it's going to be cool to get that going. And so it's really been fun to see the community come together, get behind me, support me with trying to get this park built, and just really look forward to seeing how it all comes together over the next 12-18 months.
It's been really cool for me as an outsider to kind of have you texting me on the side, like,
I give you the updates when
it's and I really appreciate that as well, and it makes me happy for you, it makes me happy for your community, and just to see it all happening so fast. I feel like you've texted me like 3 times this week. Oh, I just got this donated, and I just got this many thousands of dollars for the park. So yeah, I mean, I couldn't be happier for you, and I'm happy to say that Sassy will be as involved as we can be, and if that's shipping product out to you guys to give out and use for giveaways, we'll get the kids sporting some Sassy gear for sure. I love it. Absolutely.
But as always, I appreciate you coming every week, chatting a little NFL, NHL, a little touch on a little snow skate. We'll get a little deeper next week and see where we're at fantasy wise. See if I come out with a win or loss. We'll see if we're 1-0, 0-1 coming out the first week of fantasy, and then see where everybody's at. NFL week 7, obviously before week 7, we got a Monday nighter tomorrow as well. That should be a pretty decent game between who's at her tomorrow night? Bills and Jets. Bills will probably walk away with it easy, I'm guessing. Jets fired the coach, Robert Saleh, gone, probably because he wouldn't hug Rodgers. That's my guess. We'll start that rumor. But, we'll see where it happens. But next week, we'll get to banter about that game and everything happened in week 7 and have a little fun. Maybe some more cards, give some stuff away. And Twitter Space seemed like it worked out okay. So maybe if anybody actually comes, we'll know for sure if anybody pops up on the stage. But I think we've figured out how to integrate the Twitter Space into the show. So now we can get people asking questions and we can just ramble. It could be fun.
I love it, man. I love it. Thanks for having me. I can't believe we're at week 7 already. Stoked the hockey's here. Winter is coming. That means skiing, snowboarding, anything that you can slide on, get on some snow and slide. TKB, thanks for having me, and we'll see you next week, okay?
Appreciate you, brother. As always, enjoy the weather down in Texas. We'll chat real soon. Don't let that ice melt down there in the desert, baby.
See you, bud.
Thank you guys for tuning in. Episode 30, Bushleague Sports Show. been a good one. We covered everything on week 6. Don't know if you learned anything, but hopefully you had a laugh or two. And got a couple sneaky picks for your next week's fantasy leagues. We'll keep dialing you in on NHL fantasy, become the best you ever can. It's probably 1,000 shows trying to tell you about fantasy football, probably like 3 telling you about fantasy hockey. So we'll rock you in. But until next week, baby, we'll see if this outro plays like it's supposed to on demand. But I hope you all have a beautiful one. Stay Bushleague.
From the bottom, ain't no half stepping. I'm the dog, I made it through so they don't ask questions. Long Beach, and it ain't no half repping. Once a dog, always a dog, so they don't ask questions. From the bottom, ain't no half stepping. I'm the dog, I made it through so they don't ask questions. Long Beach, and it ain't no half repping. Once a dog, always a dog, so they don't ask questions. Tell them never question, dog, I'm sitting goat status. Eating chicken with my gin, smoking on some cabbage. Used to pedal on this
moment where you skate down the street and some shit for brains yells out of his window, "Do a kickflip! Do a kickflip! Do a kickflip!"
Rags and house shoes, they know how the dog do. Skinny, heavy pockets, the West OG. Came across the globe, say they don't know me. Been applying pressure from 8 to 24 like Kobe. Mr. Hall of Fame used to bend the corners with strollies. Had to lay the blueprint, they rolled out the carpet. Anything I wanna own, I got my own market. Blew this, blew that, everything beautiful. Still ain't sold my guns and I still ain't had to use them though. Was once a hard head, now I'm counting blessings. I made my own way, still they don't ask questions. From the bottom, ain't no half stepping. I'm the dog, I made it through so they don't ask questions. Long Beach, and it ain't no half repping. Once a dog, always a dog, so they don't ask questions.
This is some straight, hey.
This is, oh gosh.
I got thin to smoke it.
Once a dog, always a dog, so they don't ask questions. I can't name a thing that I didn't have step. From the streets and movie screens, been getting bags and checks. Hit the solid, you won't hear me with no bad rep. Legendary Crippin' made it happen, and that's on the set. Still rolling on gold things, I'm a boss. Go get it, what the fuck you waiting on, man? Let's go.
Blaming on my mom from all the crippin' I see. Blaming on my grandpa, all the hustling.
Yes, sir.